This week marked 9 years since the creation of the DACA program, almost a decade since President Obama walked into the White House Rose Garden announcing protections for a class of immigrants brought into the U.S. as children. Protections pushed for and fought for by undocumented organizers and their allies. Protections that were a workaround congressional intransigence. Protections that were far from perfect.
Now, let's be clear. This is not amnesty. This is not immunity. This is not a path to citizenship. It's not a permanent fix. This is a temporary stopgap measure that lets us focus our resources wisely while giving a degree of relief and hope to talented, driven, patriotic young people.
Of course, the fragility of DACA was brought into focus during the Trump years when the former president worked to dismantle the program. President Biden signed then an executive order preserving DACA shortly after taking office. But 9 years is a long time to live with this uncertainty. Vice President Harris met with DACA recipients at the White House, calling for a pathway to citizenship for Dreamers.
So the immigrants that we are talking about are making incredible contributions to our nation, and dare I say, as we all know history, this is a nation that was founded by immigrants. So in this regard, there's not much that is new, except perhaps some people's perspective about what should happen at this moment in our history versus what has happened in the past. But it is time for us to correct course. It is time for us to renew our embrace of the traditions and the history of America and create a pathway for citizenship.
Time to course correct, time to create a pathway to citizenship. Alejandro Mayorkas, Secretary of Homeland Security, throwing his 2 cents in this week with an op-ed asking when Congress will act. And that is exactly 9 years later, the question we all need to be asking. Across the country, Dreamers rally to remind Congress that a more permanent solution remains critical, and to remind senators that, as with many issues, the filibuster stands in the way. With just 50 senators who caucus with Democrats and 60 votes needed to break a filibuster, Democrats have limited options to go it alone. But put the solid policy aside for the moment. The heart of this is humanity, making it worthy of a reminder of who we are talking about. 640,000 people who are, for now, protected under DACA, but nonetheless living in limbo as they have been for years.
DACA is a great program, but it's the floor, not the ceiling. You know, there's so much more that we could have for our community to not live in fear all the time of whether or not something's going to be taken away from us, if this will be our last day here. DACA is very temporary, and as we've seen, it's been under attack multiple times.
The floor, not the ceiling.